Hello, everyone. In today's episode, I'm joined with Emmy, and Emmy has autism, and today we're going to be hearing her journey, her so far with autism and all the wonderful things she does. Um, so it's going to be a really good conversation today. So, Emmy, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you. I'm honored. Thanks for inviting me. I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, I know before you, so really excited, really looking forward to coming on and like speaking about autism and like and the different kind of stuff you do.
Of course.
Yeah. So if we just start off with, if you can just like do a little like introduction, just say to anyone listening or watching who you are.
Sure. My name is Emmy Flu. It's flu. Just think about like you're pronouncing like the flu cold, but hit it with the GH, like kicking it. So it's like flu.
Okay.
It's pretty tricky, but hey, that's how it is. I have autism. I've been diagnosed since I was 3 years old, and my special interest is doing like art. My dream career is just trying to get into animation, and I set this blog I did 3 years ago. It's been 3 years. 3 years recently. Last week, I had this blog called the Autistic Animator's Desk, where I would share and post drawings and some animation tests, and I'll sometimes post on paintings and do some writings. So yeah, that's basically my journey.
Yeah, like so I know you like your art. And yeah, like it's that something you do quite a lot. It's your art.
Hmm.
Yeah. And do you like, because I suppose it takes a long time, doesn't it? If you want to draw something, you have to be really concentrated.
Absolutely, yes. That's basically the key to be like a pretty good artist, especially if you want to be an animator, because I think animators are more concentrative artists because their main focus is to bring a character to life from one pose to another, whether it's 2D animation with paper and pencil or 3D animation done on the computer like Pixar, or stop motion that you had to do puppet shooting frame by frame. So yeah.
Yeah. So because you say you want to be like the as a job like animated, do you
Mhm.
like the like is that kind of linked in, I suppose? Do you like Disney and that kind of stuff, like or the Disney films?
Oh yeah, Disney was the one that started all. I mean, I grew up watching Disney my entire life. In fact, I after learning all about the Disney like behind the scenes stuff from one movie to another, I was pretty inspired by like Walt Disney himself and the the famous animators, like they're called the Nine Old Men. These are the guys who worked with Disney since the 1930s and all the way to the 70s till the retirement. And at first, I used to think art was pretty much a hobby, even when I was growing up. I didn't know what I wanted to be at the time, but learning animation from watching the Disney making stuff was so fascinating to me. I just like to keep drawing my favorite Disney characters from my favorite Disney films. And the only excuse me, by the time I was 16 years old, this was in high school, I think my sophomore year, the more I did some little practicing on anime one of my favorite characters, and then I realized this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be, and I want to be an animator. So yeah, I've been doing like I'm more focused on the 2D stuff, um, but more on onto the computer. I have like this software called Autodesk Sketchbook, which is like a digital drawing. You're still doing 2D, like hand drawn stuff, but you're doing it on a computer. So I guess it's no different than how you animate 3D, like the Pixar movies, for example. You're still doing 2D, but you got this Wacom tablet and a stylus, and you're drawing directly to the computer. And what's cool about it, you can still do animation with layer by layer by layer by layer, but put them together, edit it, and you got yourself a little film. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's something really good to get into. Like being like that, especially like linking in like like your interests over to Disney films and into like your work you want to do. Um,
Mhm,
because yeah, like how much time it takes, you have to be um very like concentrating and like I suppose like you have to try a lot. You might spend a lot of hours on one little bit and then maybe move on
mhm.
to another bit.
Yeah, usually animation does take a while, or sometimes it'll take a month or so. Depends how long the sequence is going to be. If you're making like a feature length, it'll definitely take like a year or two to make an animated film. It's a little compared to like how you're making a live action film. But I think for a short, if you're making like an animated short, I guess it takes about like a few months or so because it's not that very long. But yeah, animation is a lot of work. It could be pretty stressful, but you can still appreciate all the art and the craftsmanship what you're seeing on the big screen. It's like there's my work. It's finally
Yeah,
seen on the big screen. Even if it's a rough pencil drawing or cleanup drawing, which is like kind of like the rough pencil drawing, but we got smooth, clean lines that's like traced over. And then you get to see in full color and the background paints. It's like, there you go. There's your completed version that you're seeing on the big screen.
yeah, yeah. So is that is your aim to maybe in the future to do like your own mini little film,
Yeah.
like with different like animations that of your choosing?
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, and what do you like? You said you had a few favorites. What favorites like from maybe different Disney films are your like favorites or favorite films maybe?
Oh, well, that's tough. Like, what's my favorite non-Disney animated films? Like, oh, that's tricky. Well, if you wouldn't, is that okay if I start my favorite Disney film? And
Yeah,
then maybe I can think of,
go. Yeah.
okay, my favorite Disney film of all time is Sleeping Beauty. I liked it watching growing up as a kid. As I got older, I started to fall in love with it. I love the animation. The art style is so beautiful. The music. Fun fact: they Disney adapted the Tchaikovsky score from the ballet version of Sleeping Beauty because there is a ballet, a full length ballet before, because it's based on a fairy tale.
Mhm.
And one of the reasons why I love this film because I'm a huge fan of the art director behind it. His name is Ivan Earl. He was a American modern artist in the 20th century, and he was more of an independent artist before he came to Disney, and he put his style into the film because what their job is supposed to make it like this very beautiful gothic look, like how we see in the paints that's done back in the medieval times, and you can definitely see it. It's like wow, I never seen this animated film that's just so beautiful. It's more like you're looking at the paintings at the art gallery than just a cartoon. Okay, non Disney favorites. Ooh, that's pretty tricky. I guess I can pick. It's like there's no competition. Um, if I had to choose, I say my favorite non-Disney film would be like Anastasia. You know, the Anastasia um is made by one of my favorite animators is Don Bluth and Gary Goldman. I think compared to Sleeping Beauty, this the animation is just spectacular. It was filmed in CinemaScope, which is like a widescreen. It's widescreen format. I mean, it's kind of like CinemaScope was a big thing in the 1950s. Like Sleeping Beauty, that was filmed in widescreen format, but it was not CinemaScope. Lady and the Tramp was the first animated film to shot in CinemaScope. Sleeping Beauty was filmed in Technoramas, which is a 70 millimeter frame, that works because all that beauty behind the art. Anastasia is like it's got all this spectacular musical fantasy, even though it's based on a true story about the Romanov family in Russia and the Anna Anderson story about this woman who claims to be the lost Grand Duchess Anastasia. And basically, it's like I mean, there's gorgeous colors and all that. And like I said, spectacular animation, voice cast is amazing. I think, yeah, if I had to choose my favorite non-Disney film, all I can think of is Anastasia. I mean, this is one of Don Bluth's best films he's ever done in his career. Probably like after he did his first film, which is The Secret Nim.
Yeah, there's so many you can choose from, isn't there? Like
Absolutely.
films, like
Yeah.
films, and new ones coming out now. Like you got Disney Plus to go on with all Disney's and
Mhm.
stuff, and there's so many you can choose from. Um, but yeah, I think one of mine, I did like Monster Inc. Um, that was a really good one, I think.
Monsters Inc.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, that's a good one.
yeah, and I think they made a recent series, I think, to do with that.
Yes, Monsters at Work. I've seen it. It's on Disney Plus. It's really good. You got some of the main cast returning to do their characters, like Billy Crystal as Mike, because no one can do it better than Billy Crystal. John Goodman. Who's another actress? She did Cecilia, Mike's girlfriend. You know, with the purple snakes for
Yeah,
hair.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, who is she? I know her. She was in that Disney live action movie called Haunted Mansion. She was Madame Leota. It's true, yeah. Oh, what is her name? I'm sorry, I can't think. But you get new characters. It's pretty good. I've seen it. I think they did like 10 episodes of it. Have you seen Monsters University?
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
It's
That's good.
hmm I've seen it when it came out of the theater. I went to see with my parents. It's funny because I think the film came out the same year when I was at it was my first year at college. And I already graduated. I think I already graduated high school at the time. And so that was a pretty unique experience. I like the message of it. Like, how do you work so hard to study what you always dreamed of, but then sometimes some things you dream in reality doesn't meant to be. And Mike realizes the only thing he's meant to be is to be a coach for the monsters. And he became this coach for his best friend, Sully.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's so good. Like there's so many out there, and they're more getting made now.
Mhm.
Be nice if there was another Monster Inc. movie. They've done Toy Story. I think there's supposed to be another Toy Story movie coming out. I think.
Really?
No, there is actually a Toy Story animation one. I think they announced. I think it
Wow.
might come out this year. But I did hear something about Toy Story where yeah,
Wow.
it was pretty cool. So yeah, all really good
Yeah.
about the animation and Disney stuff, and
hmm
but it's good that you want to do that. So in the future, we might be seeing a new film directed by you.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just I there's nothing I can trade for. I mean, animation's just my biggest thing. And I think my autism made me realize this is what I want to do. I mean, there's no other kind of art. Well, I can still do paints. I mean, I can't sculpt. I've sculpted before. It's just, it was so tricky. I mean, I've done a little bit like ceramic piece, like clay. I took ceramics when I was in college. So that was 2017. It was fun. And I've done like a pottery wheeling, which is fun. It was tricky. It doesn't have to be perfect, you know. You just do the best thing you can.
Yeah,
And then you got your first work right in your eyes, right in front of your eyes.
yeah. All you can do is try your hardest, and then if you can't succeed the first time, just try
hmm
again. Like anything, like you want to do. Um, like the more you try, the more you get better at different things. Right.
It's like that line from Meet the Robinsons, that Disney movie that's done 3D. It's that line, keep moving forward. And that's like I find that very meaningful because it's true. You had to let go of your mistakes and keep moving forward. That was the main theme of the film. That's another favorite Disney film I like is Meet the Robinsons.
Hmm.
It's just there's something about it. I mean, I don't know. It's like I love the message on just let go of the past and just look out for the future and just keep moving forward, you know?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point there because yeah, we got to move forward. So yeah, like with your autism, what do you think with doing animations? Do you like maybe find hard? Do you find anything hard with animations? Um, really?
For me, the hardest thing about animating, and I think I'm still pretty struggling, is the timing. Timing is like timing and spacing is the most super important in animation because what timing is, it's like you're animating a character depends on how fast or slow is this character going to walk or run, whether it's a human walking in 2 legs or an animal like a dog or a cat in 4 legs. And that is the hardest thing. I mean, I'm just doing what the basic rules about it. Like for animation, it's all about 24 frames. So that means you have to take 24 drawings. Well, for 24 drawings, I'd say you got to focus on the main key poses or the key drawings, which are drawing the characters in main poses. So I think you take 12 of them and then you go to like in betweens, which means you take 2 set of main drawings of the main poses, draw another pose that can help move the character very realistically and smoothly. That's not like this. See how like my fingers like bouncing. If I want to draw where I made someone moving the finger smooth, I go like this. That's an example of like smooth animation. So 12 to 12, add that together and you get 24 frames per second, meaning a total of 24 drawings for each second per film. So yeah, a lot of hard work, but
Yeah.
that's how you move a character. I mean, I'm still kind of learning, even though I'll still kind of struggle, but I'm just doing what I do, just follow the principles in animation. And you can't obviously forget squash and stretch because that's super important. Plus, it helps to make the character move believably because you gotta have to show like squash and stretch. Like, for example, if I'm going to animate a ball, which I did like one of my early animation tests I did in Rough is like animating a bouncing ball. Like I think you go like this or boom, boom. You gotta show some squash and stretch because it's I think it's like the example of gravity. Depends how your body stretches this. And then when the ball hits the ground, there's gonna be like squish movement. So yeah, timing, spacing, and squash and stretch is like most important examples of animating,
Yeah.
especially like 3D. I think 3D uses like same principles as how you do with 2D animation. That's just how it helps.
Yeah. Yeah, I think yeah, it like with the animation and like art, was that like a thing that you've always wanted to do, or was it just quite recent?
So like I said, I realized wanting to get the career animation. I was 16 at the time, and
Hmm.
so I'll animate once in a while, but I'm more into like drawing, kind of like illustrating or drawing just for fun. That's how I did in my blog. I'll show like drawings or fan art. Like one of my main focuses on drawing is like I'll do ballet, which is like I'll draw ballet drawings in terms to like realistic animated figures, not making cartoony. I don't want that. I want to draw, excuse me, a
Mm.
real ballerina that she can dance realistically, like how you see dancers dancing on stage. But I tend to stylize them because I think ballet is the most stylized dance any other art form I see. I grew up seeing ballet. I would go see the Nutcracker every Christmas with my mom because I found that ballet so meaningful to me. It was the first ballet performance I saw when I was 7. Last year, we celebrate 20 years since I've seen my first Nutcracker, which it's hard to believe. And yeah, I'll draw things that's like based on things that I love. Another good example I would do drawings is like Harry Potter. Huge fan. Since
Yeah.
I've seen the films. My favorite character is Lupin and Luna, because I identify myself related to them the most because I know what it feels like to be different. I mean, Lupin kind of like, he tends to like mask in his condition because he's afraid, since the Wizarding world is like very prejudiced against werewolves, and I can totally understand. And that's the biggest struggle that in the autism community we have, is like being afraid of being prejudiced of who we are just because we're so different, and
Yeah.
find the world so confusing that we can't think or communicate, and we tend to be so shy from that, you know. And
Yeah. I think it's good that you like kind of related to your interest, like Harry Potter. Like I can see the poster there in the background. But yeah, like I think that's great. Like you're relating it to like the artwork you do. And yeah, like how it makes them feel different, like kind of relating yourself to that. So
yeah,
it's good.
I'll draw the characters like, I mean, it's fun to draw a caricature from the actors because they did such a wonderful job. But for me as an
Yeah.
artist, I tend to draw the characters that how they were described in the book, because that's how J.K. Rowling sees it. Like Lupin, I tend to draw him like, just because Harry Potter is very stylized. It's definitely stylized today, especially how we see the films. So I tend to draw him like, stylize him a little bit, just make him more like, he just got like a geometric shape of his head. And I did caricature a little bit from the actor because he's my favorite actor. Because I mean, no one can play Lupin better than David Lewis. I mean, he's just wow. I mean, there's something about him. He was meant to be. And same for Luna, the way Ivana Lynch played her. It's like, yeah, this is the one. And another main focus I'll do is like, I did mention I do fan art. Most of the fan art I did, besides Harry Potter, I'll do like Disney and Pixar. Mostly I would do like watercolor drawings. I use watercolor more than any other medium. I mean, I've done other painting mediums before, like acrylics and oils. I mostly done oils in school and acrylics both at school and home. But watercolor is what I'm into it more now. I mean, I think it's probably like a fun medium to use, because all I do is like, you lightly sketch the character or background in both all at the same time, and then clean up with the pen, erase all the pencil lines, and then I have like the kind of watercolors I use is like the pencils. So I would start like coloring them first, just like I use regular pencils, and then wet it down with water and paintbrush, and then you get this beautifully watercolor medium. So that's pretty fun. I mean, just because I'm a huge fan of Disney and Pixar. Most
Yeah.
of I've done Disney than Pixar. I mean, I've done some like Pixar fan art of one of my favorite characters, like Dory from Finding Nemo. I did one digital drawing of Dory, baby Dory from Finding Dory. I love that movie. I think one of my favorite Pixar sequel if I had to pick and choose, because I found that so meaningful. Actually, my mom and I did get to see it at the theater. We were vacationing at Columbus, Ohio, where I was born, and we went to see it at the mall where it has like a movie theater, and we actually enjoyed it. And we had a conversation at the end of it when we were getting out and getting ready to go back to our hotel, saying, which is a big important for the autism community, like, if you ever get lost, and what do you need to do? You need to call
Yeah.
your family. If you're completely lost and alone, just remember, don't panic. Just try to stay calm as you can. I know it can be pretty scary, but call your family members immediately, like call your mom or call your dad, your brother and sister, your aunt, uncle, your grandparents. Call them immediately, and you sit down and calmly, then wait for them, and they'll come get you, and they'll
Yeah.
take you home safely. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good. That like because you can get lost in general and with autism as well. So I think that's it's good that you like relate that to like Disney and like to like because it is true like as well like when you was at school and stuff did like what was the struggles there like what did you find it hard to ask for help and stuff like how was your support like in school and stuff?
When I started school, actually, I think I had to go back in the first grade. So this is like in the early 2000s. I did have a helper aide who stayed with me from first grade until the end of my sophomore year in high school because I was doing like so well in school. I I first started out as having mild autism when I was a kid, but as I got older, I became more high functioning. So I guess that's why I'm not labeled having Asperger's. I don't know why, but I guess that makes sense because if you're gonna have Asperger's, you gotta start being more high functional than than just starting having mild symptoms of it. Um, yeah, she's been so helpful. Even if I'm going through like struggles, I mean, school can be pretty challenging, especially for the autism or any other disability community, because support, I mean, that's what the idea of having disability is all about, right? You need help and support from home and school. And I did get some help. And then when I started becoming more independent in my junior year, so I was 16 and going on 17 at the time, I was doing pretty well. It's like you you can do this, you know. I mean, everyone would encourage me like you could definitely do this, and I did, and I graduated high school with a diploma, and I made it pretty well. And I was still becoming an independent student later on when I was in college. I mean, I'll still get some help, but I'm just doing like just be an independent student like you should be.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's tough, I suppose, in school because
Yeah.
not everyone does understand like
Mhm.
you and stuff. Um, because it is hard for to explain autism as well. And
Yeah.
especially like if you look well, like you get a lot of people so sometimes say you don't look like you're autistic, don't you? And then you kind of question that thinking what does someone with autism look like, and then they kind of suppose bring the people that are like more
Mhm.
I suppose look more autistic in a way where they're
Yeah.
different, but it shouldn't be like that. It's like
No.
it's like anything, not just autism. Like people will look at you and think that you don't look like you have
Yeah.
that, and they don't know
Yeah.
properly. That shows you that you don't know, they don't know properly what like autism is or someone else.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. You get IEPs so they know your records and what kind of disability you have. Like either you're autistic or you have vision loss, like blindness, or hearing loss, like deafness, or dyslexia, or ADHD. I mean, they have to know, and what can they do to add providings for your help? I mean, of course, the school wants you to do successfully well so you can graduate just like the other students. And help is definitely extremely important. I mean, I think without my help or the aid I had from all the way from my first grade to the end of my sophomore year in high school, I think who knows what I've done. Even if I'm still mildly or high functioning autistic as I am, or still the same how I am when I was growing up. But yeah, you definitely need help more than anything, especially in school.
Yeah, yeah. I think yeah, you do in school when like if you struggle with that help, you I suppose you're scared to help. Ask if you worry about other people thinking in the class maybe. Um,
Yeah,
um, depending how big it is and how small it. Even it does, I don't think it matters on the size, but
Mhm.
I think it is bigger. It is more like overwhelming if a classroom is bigger than a smaller one.
Yeah, which makes a really good point too, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
because yeah, like because you have special schools now that are there
Mhm.
for people with autism and different needs that need supporting. Um, So yeah, you have then kind of the understand autism more than maybe mainstream where they don't as much, but they may know of it, but not know your personal traits of it because
Yeah,
everyone's different, aren't
yeah, yeah. But where to take that quote from one of my heroes, Temple Grandin, that famous autistic woman. Um, the famous line that she always says that I'm different but not less. I mean, just because we're different and just because disabilities just make us feel different doesn't mean we should be looked down upon. Doesn't mean we're lesser than our peers. We can still do anything that we want, just as long as we get help and right support from our families and our teachers and our peers, then we can still do anything we can. Even for the autism community, whether you can talk or you're nonverbal, but they still want to tell you something more than anything.
they? Yeah, yeah, because you can still communicate to people who aren't who's not verbal, um,
Mhm.
or because you find ways and stuff, but um.
Yeah.
I think non-verbal the are the ones like they think they are more autistic
Mhm.
than someone who is verbal, but everyone has their own needs, even though maybe like us we can communicate, but it doesn't mean we don't struggle with things.
Yeah, yeah.
Like people who are not verbal will struggle. They struggle to communicate. Um,
Mhm.
but everyone struggles with it, but they're different things, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, plus we get like interest in obsessions. Like art has been my obsession since my entire life. Well, it's like I said, I think at the beginning, I used to think art as a hobby because I would always draw when I come home from school, or I'll do some drawings while I'm in school, but like a free time. It's like my comfort zone. Even before I decided animation is what I want to do. I mean, you do what makes you feel. You find your obsessions as the most comfort zone, like your podcast. I think your podcast is like it's your comfort zone. Like, there's another good example. Like, I've seen this documentary. There's another famous autistic person besides Temple Grant from the documentary called Life Animated. Have you seen it? I
No,
highly, I
no.
highly recommend it. It's so good. His name is Owen Suskine. He's autistic. He's been diagnosed since he was 3, so my age. And his obsession is watching Disney films, like the Disney films that the classic ones we grow up, like Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Little Mermaid, Lion King, Hunchback of Notre Dame,
I like
Hercules.
Aladdin.
Me too. I
Yeah,
love Aladdin. And he watches those movies as his comfort zone, and it kind of helped him to because when he got his diagnosis, he stopped talking. And there's a one sequence excuse me, there's that one sequence when he was watching the Little Mermaid with his family, and they're watching a scene where it's the Poor Unfortunate Souls number with Ursula makes a bargain with Ariel, so she becomes human and be with Prince Eric, who she's fallen in love with. And there's that line from the song that goes like, "Just your voice," and then Owen kind of repeats that line, going like, "Jusifos, Jusifos." It's like a gibberish talk, but then you realize that's echolalia, which that's what I have right now because I quote. It's a guilty pleasure. I quote lines so many times, especially for Harry Potter.
yeah,
um, yeah, it's fun. It's really fun. Whether you're quoting from the movies or the book, I mean, most I quote the lines from the book. I
yeah,
think Prisoner of Azkaban has like the most memorable quotes. If I had to pick and choose which Harry Potter film has the most memorable quotes, I say the third one because they're so good. Um, and then later on, when you get Owen at 6 with his brother having his birthday, he starts just talking, like saying his brother doesn't want to grow up like Mowgli or Peter Pan, and his parents are like, did he just talk? It's so amazing. I highly recommend it. It'll lift you up and you go like, wow. As a Disney fan and an artist, I can definitely identify myself related to Owen because I know what it feels like to be a true Disney fan, especially all the films from the Disney Renaissance you grew up watching that came from your generation or my generation. It's like, wow,
Yeah,
how amazing.
you got all sorts. I think you got Jack and the Beanstalk, Peter Pan. You've got the Lion King.
Mhm.
You've got the I forgot what it was called. You got the there's one. I think there's Tarzan's.
Yes. Oh, I love that movie.
Tarzan.
think I did see Tarzan when it came out, so I was probably still 4 at the time. It's weird. It's hard to remember what's the first animated film you saw. That was the main struggle for me. For me,
Yeah.
I didn't. If I try to remember, I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, there's no right or wrong answers, right?
No.
I would say the first film I saw was A Bug's Life, which is the second Pixar film Pixar made after Toy Story. And then Tarzan came out a year later. I remember seeing it. That was the film that introduced me to Phil Collins. And
Oh,
I love his work too.
yeah. I think mine might have been. I would think it would be Nemo because I would have been young, and that's a
Yeah.
young one. It might have been Nemo. It could have been Peter Pan. Um, isn't what's the one with the I think there's one with a tooth. Um, oh, I forgot. But there's so many you think of, and then you forget, and then there's more coming
Yeah.
out now because they haven't created their own like thing now. You got Disney Plus, all the Disney films, not just Disney films. You got all things that
Yeah.
are are good, and yeah, like I know Aladdin recently was they did a few years ago the film not like in animations, just like normal actors doing it, and
Hmm.
I enjoyed it, and like the songs from like Aladdin I liked. I think you kind
Yeah.
of well, things you like, I suppose, like with Harry
Hmm.
Potter or stuff like that. You kind of like listen to the soundtrack
Yeah.
or songs
Oh yeah.
through it, and like I know I do. Like and sometimes when I'm doing some work or doing some maybe writing up a podcast,
Mhm.
I'll go on YouTube and I'll put a soundtrack out of Doctor Who because that's one of the things of my interests.
Yeah. That's what I heard from when you guest appearance with Says you like Doctor Who.
Yeah,
That's cool. That's
yeah,
based on an interest that you find fascinating. That's like my interest is Harry Potter, and
yeah,
I mean you gotta like the classic novels too.
yeah. Like ever since because I was born 2001 and the revival of Doctor Who was in 2005, and I watched it pretty young, so I watched it when my family member said to me, "You should watch
Mhm.
this." Now, hang on, what's this? And then I thought, okay, I'll watch it, see what it's like, and I love it, and like and then nowadays it's probably not as good as it was with like soundtrack
Yeah,
and episodes, but hopefully that changes
yeah.
soon with it. I think the 60th anniversary is coming up with it, but
Wow.
yeah, it's something that I've always liked, like that and sport. I like sport and I like Doctor Who and talk to different people. But yeah, it's great. Like it's great you like Harry Potter. I know they did like a reunion thing, didn't they?
I
Yeah,
saw the reunion. When I watched it for the second time on HBO Max, I got super emotional. It's like, oh, you
yeah,
can't help it. When Emma Watson started to cry, I start crying, and then when Daniel Radcliffe starts getting teary eyed at the end, it's like, oh, God
yeah,
bless him. I mean, no one can play. He was meant to be Harry. I mean, this is what makes him such an icon, you know. Same thing
yeah,
for Emma. I mean, she's Hermione. She is Hermione. It's same thing Rupert Grint. He is Ron. And Robbie Coltrane, he's Hagrid, you know. I mean, who played better than those characters?
Yeah, they did. Like um I remember, I do remember watching the films. Like yeah, I think it's great. I think they're actually in the works of making a game um as
Mhm.
well for Harry Potter. Um,
They have a
so
third Fantastic Beasts coming up. Have you
yeah,
seen the trailer yet for the third one?
yeah, I think I did. Um, yeah, I like the actor um who plays in it.
Eddie Redmayne?
Yeah, I think he's a good actor.
Yeah, yeah, he's a good actor. I liked him in Theory of Everything as Stephen Hawking. I think he was a good
Mm,
choice.
yeah,
Yeah. He
I think he would be a great doctor.
Oh
um,
yeah. What do you think of Jude Law as Dumbledore? I thought he was great. I think
yeah.
perfect compared to way Michael Gambon did. Well, you got the late Richard Harris in the two in the first two films, and then after he passed away, you got Michael Gambon, who brought like such warmth and joy. I mean, he's so good as Dumbledore, and then you get Jude Law in Fantastic Beasts. It's like perfect. I mean, I like Jude Law as an actor. I liked him in the Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr. I thought he was the great Dr. Watson. There's one film. They did a Lemony Snicket movie when I was growing up. It had Jim Carrey as Count Olaf, which I think is so good. He did the voice of Lemony Snicket, the writer,
Oh,
and Road to Perdition with Tom Hanks. He plays a creepy bad guy. It's like, ooh, stay away. It's a good movie too. I think it's one of Tom Hanks's good roles he's ever done in his career.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, great actor.
Have you been to Harry Potter World? I like
No,
any Harry Potter places or anywhere. There's a
no. I think my mom would love to check out at Universal. It's at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. I think that'd be really, really fun. I'll tell you one thing. This is a funny story. I'll tell you the truth. My mom surprised me the Prisoner of Azkaban film concert, and that was so meaningful to me because we saw it the same day when I first opened my blog, The Autistic Animator's Desk. I was 24, and I didn't know what to expect. We want to watch Prisoner of Azkaban on that Saturday night. I thought we were going to watch it at home because I had the DVD copy of it, but no, I was like, what's going on? Buys me the tickets, and it's like, oh my god, are you kidding me? But yeah, it was really fun. What it does, it's a film concert. You've got like the full orchestra on stage. I think we saw it at I think at college because it was assembly hall, and you got a projector, and they'll play the movie on the screen. Just no music, just all dialogue from the actors and sound effects. The entire orchestra will play the exact same John Williams score that you hear from the film. I mean, a little different because it's not the same thing like how you hear from directly from the film, but it's still the same music, same John Williams score, which I think he did so brilliantly compared to his work for Star Wars. I mean, who how can you forget the legendary John Williams as the composer for Star Wars since when it first started back in the 70s? Yeah, it was so fun. I love the score. I think Prisoner of Azkaban has like the best music score. Order of the Phoenix does too. I mean, Nicholas Hooper, especially when you get the fight scene between the Order of the Phoenix and the Death Eaters, kind of reminds me of the one scene from episode 2 in Star Wars with all the Jedi Knights coming together to save Anakin, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Padme from Count Dooku. I
yeah,
thought that was so cool.
yeah. I think it's great. Like you find something that's like interests you. Like for me, it's Doctor Who. Felt like you use Harry Potter and Disney.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's a good mix, like
Yeah,
there
absolutely.
and everything. But one last thing before we finish, because I think it's been really great, Emmy. Like
Thank you. It
having
was
you on,
fun.
because I know you was really excited about coming on today.
Yeah.
But if you had any advice from your experience, maybe with autism in schools, or just in general? Like, what would advice would you say?
For my advice, I would say do what makes you feel comfortable. Just follow your gut instinct. If there's a passion that you want, that you've been obsessed, even though you kind of don't realize this is like your future career. Like I didn't realize art was going to be my thing the entire time. By the time I realized it when I was 16, and I just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep moving forward. As the message was in Meet the Robinsons, which I highly recommend it. It's a great Disney film, even though it's 3D, but it's such a powerful movie. Don't ever give up. Never give up what you love to do, even if it's giving you a hard time or very difficult. Just don't give up. Even if you want to do something differently that's based on a subject you like, just try something different. Like you don't have to be an animator if it's too difficult for you. Just keep drawing. You could be a character designer or layout artist for backgrounds, or you could be a background painter, whatever you want to do. But yeah, if you want to be an animator, just to be an animator, you need to study a lot. I would start with the Disney, like the legendary 9 old men, these legendary animators who started all from the 30s until their retirement in the 70s. They're the ones who trained the animators from the Renaissance, like Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin. The animators like Glenn Keane, Andre Station, we know they were the reason why they become so good, because they were trained by the 9 old men when they were so young. Yeah, I would study from Disney, understand the history of it, understand the animation, even though it can be difficult, but that's okay. Just understand the history, watch the films and TV shows as you can. Just study and study and study. If it's okay to watch cartoons as an adult, I'm 27. I still watch cartoons like Hey Arnold. I can watch Hey Arnold all the time. Never get tired of it. Never get tired, because that show has such a meaningful to me as well. Just follow your gut instincts. Don't be afraid to show your passion. Just do what you had to do.
Yeah,
that's what I would say.
I think that's some really good advice. Like just ask for help if you need to it. Follow your gut instinct, like you're saying there, because I think that's some really good advice, and it will help lots of people. And I think we've had a really good conversation today.
Thank you.
About autism, about like Disney, about like animations, because I think it's great. And like who knows, a few years time, Emmy, we might be seeing the next #1 film
Absolutely.
anime.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Mason.
Yeah. Well, thank you again, Emmy, and it's been really good talking to you.
It's good talking to you, Mason. Thanks for inviting me. I'm so honored by it. It was a pleasure.
Yeah.